Hey everyone, Tony here. So I guess anyone who's anyone is either at the National or was at the National. So I hope you're enjoying the National if you're there. As for me, I recently opened a few sealed 70s and 80s Calbee packs. So I'm going to share with you what I got. And I guess we'll just start with the earliest cards chronologically. So I got a couple 77 cards. And the 77 cards, they came in a blue pack that looks like this. And on the front there, well, and you can see it better on here, it's talking about how you can get a home run card. And the home run cards, of course, were prize cards. That if you got a card that looked like any other card, but on the back it just said like you won, and you could redeem it for a prize. And so those cards are the most sought after among Calbee collectors, particularly the ones that are not marked, because usually you would redeem the prize if you hit one, and then the card would be marked. But the unmarked ones are particularly sought after. So anyway, after that little digression, here's the first card that I got out of the 77 packs. This is a pretty nice one. Shigeru Takada. He's a big, V9 guy, uh, Giants dynasty third baseman. Takada, pretty photogenic guy. He's always smiling like that on his cards. And so back, nice as you would expect. Very white, and the centering is bang on too. So this is overall just a real nice one to get. And then I also got, although the back on this one, because it's a little later, the back on this one is a little different, although it is also a 77 card. But as you can see, they switched the back up. Another nice, crisp one, as you'd expect from a pack fresh card, but also centered. So this is a nice one too. This is Takashi Yoshida. And Takashi Yoshida was kind of supposed to be like the successor to the great Giants catcher Masaki Mori. But alas, he didn't really pan out as that successor to Mori. This is a nice one too. Nice image of him holding two bats there. So then I got one pack of 79. So 79, the packs looked like this, these red packs. And in the back there, you can see a Giants pitcher. I don't know if these players, if it's one of those things where they basically are actual players, like they just took images and then just made them kind of generic looking. So I actually don't know, like, for example, if this is definitively a player or this Giants pitcher is definitively a player. But 79 pack. And then the 79 card I got is this nice one. And this one is completely blank on the front. No text as they usually have. And this is from the 79 Japan series. So this is like a special edition. It says it's not numbered. But, ooh, man, blinded by that whiteness. Look at that crisp back right out of the pack. But yeah, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Oh, right. It's hideously off center on the back, as you can see, but that's all right. I mean, look how off center that is. Yeah. And then I got a couple 1980s cards. I've got a couple different versions of the pack of 1980 Calbee. So here's one with, I don't know what it's with, but now, and you'll probably notice that these are smaller now. So starting in 1980, and then with the catcher, starting in 1980, they did switch the size of these to a smaller size. 1980 Calbee is kind of unique in that it has cards of two different sizes in the set. The first two series can actually be found in large size, and I'm actually collecting the large size cards, and they're pretty scarce because the large size. Well, 1980 Calbee in general is pretty scarce. The cards are just not super easy to come by in general, but the large size ones in particular can be very rare because it seems that Calbee switched the size up pretty quickly. So the first 95 or so cards come in large and small size. So one of the cards I got out of my 1980 packs was this one. So Hideji Kato for the Hankyu Braves, and this is a small one, as you can see. But there's also a big version of this card that I will need to get if I want to get all the 80 Calbee large size cards. So it looks exactly like this, except it's bigger. And as you can see, the back, this is a nice one. Like I said, 1980 Calbee is pretty scarce. And so to get a pack and to get an absolutely mint one fresh out of the pack is pretty cool. So they actually did, well, I'll get to that in a second, but so Hideji Kato for the Braves. Nice looking card. And then this was my big wah-wah disappointment. So I also got number 95. By some chance, I got two sequentially numbered cards. I got 94 and 95, which I believe are the last two cards that come in large size versions in the set. But what happened with this one? Ooh, check that out. So this one got screwed up. I don't know. Probably what happened was because you have these blue packs, and probably what happened is this was maybe sitting somewhere warm and or moist, and then just some of that pigment from the paper pack just came off on this one. So very unfortunate pulling this one out like this. Like I said, a 1980, a pack fresh card. These are scarce, and it's just really cool to have one right out of the pack. But yeah, that's unfortunate. You can see a little residue there on the front as well. But oh well, that's how she goes. This thing, has been sitting in a pack for decades. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. And then I got another 1980, and this is a higher number one, and this is a pretty cool card to get because it is Isao Shibata of the Giants. Now, Isao Shibata was a great player. Well, you could see him better if he'd focus up, but Isao Shibata was a great player. He's not a Hall of Famer. However, he was a switch hitter, and he had a very long career with the Giants, almost 20 years even, and of course was part of their V9 dynasty and things like that. Here's the back. So as you can see, even on the 80s, they switched the back up a bit for I don't know starting when, but the backs have a little bit of a different design here. So, anyway, what was I saying? Right, Shibata. Shibata, actually, a fun fact about him too is that he was teammates with Sadaharu Oh for longer than Shigeo Nagashima was, which is just kind of a pretty cool little piece of trivia about him. Very long, successful career, but alas, not a Hall of Famer, but still a great player. So that's another 80. Just admire that crisp back again. Should have probably gotten some of my more beat Calbees out just as a point of comparison for you. And then finally, I got for the pack pulled ones, I got a 1981 pack. And this one looks a lot like the 80 pack. It's a slightly different shade of blue. It's a little bit lighter. So here's what I got. Kiyoshi Takahata for the Giants. And this is a great card, man. Look at him in mid-swing. Um, so the 81s, a bit like the 80 cards, are a little scarce. You just don't come across them quite as much as some of the other years. Um, so nice to have a pack fresh 81. Well, I don't know. I can never get it to look how I want it to look. So, um, okay. So then those are the ones that I got out of packs, and I'm gonna show you guys. I also went digging around boxes just for more 1980s, early to mid 80s Calbees. I just dug around the boxes and inspected the cards for ones that were basically in that pack fresh mint condition. And I gotta say, looked through hundreds and maybe even a few thousands of cards in the Calbee boxes at my LCS, but I only found one, two, three, four, five, six cards that I would deem mint, like fresh out of the pack mint. So I picked them all up, and I'll show them to you right now. So first up, I got this nice one. This is a 1982 of Masayuki Matsunuma. Masayuki Matsunuma. Try to say it 5 times fast. Pitcher for the Lions. Maybe I should just turn that off. Yeah, that'll work too. So here's an 82. And I would say that starting in the late 80s, it's based on my own experience. It just becomes quite a bit easier to find these 80s Calbees in very nice, pristine condition. I would say starting like 87, 88, 89, it's pretty common to find them in nice, real nice, pristine condition. But for whatever reason, like 86 on down, it seems significantly harder. I mean, I guess it kind of makes some sense if you compare like an 80, 81, 82 to like an 87. That's a pretty good chunk of years, but so like these 82s, most of them were pretty beat or pretty soiled, but I did find some diamonds in the rough. And this card in particular is awesome because it's of Koichi Tabuchi, who's probably the second greatest offensive catcher in Japanese baseball history after Katsuya Nomura. He's only recently a Hall of Fame inductee, which is pretty crazy to me. He mainly played for the Tigers, and that's what he's most known for, but here he is later career with the Lions. So Tabuchi has 400 something home runs as a catcher. So that's a real, and as I said, recent Hall of Fame inductee, so that's a pretty nice one to get. Here's another 82 Yasushi Tao sliding into base there. A darker one. Got a little bit of a nick in the top left corner, but they can come out of the pack like that. So this is another one that I deem to be pack fresh. And then I got, I believe these next two are 83s. And this is another real nice one to get. So this is Akinobu Okada, and he's a pretty significant figure in the history of my Hanshin Tigers. In terms of like a title title winning, he's really prominent. Now the Tigers are sort of famously underachievers when it comes to actually winning. So that would be Japan Series championships or even pennants. But basically, Akinobu Okada has been present with the team in some capacity. So for basically everything in their, they have a 90-year history, but they haven't done a whole lot of winning. In 1985, as a player, Okada won the Japan Series with the team. And then in 2023, when the Tigers finally won the Japan Series again, he was the manager of the team. So he has two. He was on the team for both of the team's Japan Series championships. He actually had two stints as the team's manager. In his earlier stint, he did win at least one Central League pennant, although he didn't win the Japan Series during that first stint. But so Akinobu Okada, significant Tiger, probably not a Hall of Famer, but definitely one of the more prominent Tigers in history. All right. We got Takayoshi Nakao for the Dragons. Another real mint one. Nice catcher shot there. And then finally, another dragon. We've got Tatsuo Komatsu. So these are all that'll be it for the pack fresh cards. So, like I said, out of hundreds and hundreds of cards, I found 6 that I deemed pack fresh. So, all right, guys. Well, as always, thanks for watching. Peace.